All right, guys, welcome in. It is Friday. It's time for Total Bases Free Pick Major League Baseball show right here on WagerTalk TV. That hopefully becomes a 5-day-a-week show. So like and subscribe. Let them know in the comments that you want us to go 5 days. Hopefully as early as next week. But we're back for today. We're kicking off a new weekend of games, weekend series, and I don't think this is a national TV game, but it should be. I'm sure one of these is at some point. I think the feature game today has to be the Subway Series, the Mets and the Yankees, with how good both of these teams are playing. The whole Juan Soto, playing the Yankees. I have my Syracuse Mets hoodie on right now, but it looks like a Mets hoodie, so I came dressed accordingly today. TB always dressed accordingly. So let's kick it off. Mets Yankees. That'll be our feature game today. And we'll go to Tokyo. Brandon, I'll start with you. How are you doing this morning? And kick us off with Mets Yankees.
Doing good. I just won a Japanese baseball play. Trevor Bauer got rocked, but I backed him, unfortunately, but team came back at the end and won in the 8th innings. That's always nice to get those. Major League Baseball, I went 3-1 yesterday, so pretty happy about that. Let's talk about Yankees and Mets. Are you saying that's not a Mets hoodie, Adam?
Well, it is a Syracuse Mets hoodie, TB. I've got Syracuse Mets. It's got all the patches on it. You know what? I didn't even know I owned this hoodie. Mallory bought this at a game because she was cold one time, like a couple of years ago, and it was in her closet. And I didn't realize she bought a really nice New Era, $80 hoodie because she was cold at the game. That was actually a men's hoodie that fit me. So 2 years later, I was like, this is pretty sick. I didn't even know this. We owned this. And so now I have to pull up when we're talking Mets. So yeah, this is a Syracuse Mets hoodie, but it works. Same logo.
Yeah, my wife got me this jacket too when she was cold. So anyways,
the woman's jacket. Come on, you can tell us.
Mets and Yankees. I have the Yankees favored in almost every category here, but just barely. Both teams are top 10 hitting teams in current form right now. Yankees are slightly better. Both bullpens, I have them both ranked 11 out of 30 in current form. And starting pitching, I got Carlos Rodon. I've said this many times, but I take the 200 and somewhat starters and I rank them on a curve of 30. And Carlos Rodon ranks 6, while Megal ranks 11. So they're both high. And I have the Yankees a slight favorite here, but there's no way I'm going to bet this game. I will watch it for entertainment purposes, but I'm not going to put money on it.
Two guys here that I want to bet on against two offenses I want to bet on. And so
exactly.
Unfortunately, that's probably going to leave me on the sideline. Tyler McGill's been really good for the Mets. Everybody for the Mets has been good. They've done a tremendous job with their pitching staff this year. The coaching over there has just been tremendous. Whoever they bring in seems to do the job in New York. And as you were talking about, Carlos Rodon's, he's back. I mean, you thought his season was over just in 2023. He goes 3-8, 6.85 ERA. Now he's been awesome. Despite being in the 21st percentile of extension, he's got a lot of red on his StatCast page. Two guys I'm looking to play on his expected ERA 2.82. So what he's doing is it's been followed up. So unfortunately, we don't have any edges for me here because I like the pitching and I like the hitting, and there's nothing I don't think I can play in this game.
Yeah, I don't have a play for this game specifically, but I was trying to think the Mets have to be a pretty decent plus price for the series. I really, now full disclosure, I almost never bet series. I never make that bet. It's not something that I typically look at, but you're talking about here, the Mets are going to be an underdog in every single one of these games. And Sunday, they will be up against Max Fried. So you have to think that the series price reflects that. And at least the next 2 days, I look at this Friday game and the Saturday game. Tonight, Miguel Rodon, I think the Mets, have just as good of a chance to win this game as the Yankees, yet they're plus 120. Tomorrow's the game I probably would target the Mets. Canning against Schmidt. Bryan's been talking about Canning all year. that's the one. That's probably the spot I would target the Mets. Sunday, like just because Fried is on the mound does not mean you're drawing dead. The Mets can absolutely, win any game, and I believe it's Peterson for the Mets who can keep you in the game. I don't hate taking a shot with the Mets at depending on what the series price is, at like a good plus price on the series, because if you can win tonight, tomorrow's the game I think has the biggest edge. Brian, do you want to add something there?
Yeah, I'm only seeing 2 up on our line service right now. They got Bet Online. You can get the Mets at plus 157. DraftKings plus 135. That's not going to be enough to get you involved.
No.
But if you got a Bet Online account at 157, that may be
Yep.
something to shoot for. Yeah, I think this is going to be an even series overall. 4-game series may go 2-2. So it may not make a difference. But yeah, the Mets are going to be live dogs in every one of these games. And that's because their pitching has been terrific.
Yeah, and I do my National League power rankings. They have been one or been very close to one, like right up at the top. With me, obviously the Dodgers are what they are, but right now, and that's kind of what we talked about on this show a little bit. Now the Dodgers may have arrived last night, much to my dismay. I was against them, but like right now, the Mets are as good as any team in baseball, and there's just not many scenarios where I would play against this team as an underdog. I do think there's some value with the Mets in this series. I just don't know if this is the spot, but Miguel Rodon plus money wouldn't go against the Mets here. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's hop into the chat. Actually, let's do I'll do a second sort of feature game here since we didn't have a ton on that one. And we do have a couple of national TV games tonight. So I guess we're counting Apple TV as national TV now because the whole country gets it on one platform, even though it's one of like 17 streaming platforms you need if you're a sports fan. But Apple TV's got a doubleheader tonight. I'll go to the late game because this is a very interesting game between two very good teams. Mariners, Padres out west. We'll go to Bryan Leonard, Logan Evans, Stephen Kolek. Guys, this isn't a Tacoma El Paso game, but we've got Logan Evans, Stephen Kolek at the big league level. Start us off, Bryan Leonard.
Yeah, a couple of young guys. We talked last time we were on about young pitchers and how you treat them. Evans, his numbers, his hard hit rate's good. It's been very good. He's in the 83rd percentile of that, 71st percentile of barrel percentage. But his ground ball rate is in the 11th percentile, extension in the 7th. His ERA is 3.60, but his expected ERA is about a run higher at 4.56. I was looking at this one because you've got 2 guys here. You got Seattle's pitcher pitching on the road. San Diego's it's a mid-range for the most part, hitter's park. Kolek has looked really good thus far, but not much was expected out of him. But it's time that's been needed for San Diego because of the injuries to some of their guys. So they'll be getting a few guys back soon. But do you trust what you have seen so far? And the line where it is kind of steep on San Diego. In the 145 to 155 range. Can't lay that with them, although Kolek has looked really good, but we'll have to see if small sample sizes fell out there. The way Seattle's hit on the road, you've got to come into this game because Padres have had some problems in that regard and think that there might be some value here on Seattle. I'm going to take a better look at it a little bit later on, but I have these 2 teams pretty close, and I've got the 2 pitchers pretty close, so that would point me towards Seattle with a little bit of an edge, but Evans was exposed a little bit last time out. We'll see what happens here.
When I first ran my numbers on this game, it just jumped out off of the page at me. Stephen Kolek is ranked number 2 out of 30 on my curve of 30. And I was like, whoa, who is this guy? So I dug a little deeper and I found out that he went 9 innings of no run ball against the Rockies. And then he went 5.1 innings of no run ball against the Pirates. So Rockies and Pirates, not only is the sample size small, but it's against probably 2 of the worst hitting teams in Major League Baseball. So I don't really trust my ranking on him. Logan Evans, I have his expected ERA. Puts him at ranked 23rd out of 30. So Yeah, I don't trust either one of these guys, and there's not really a big enough sample size to put money on it as far as I'm concerned. What I like to do in a situation like this is take what do I know? I know the Padres have a power-packed lineup, and I know that Seattle is so up and down. They started the season like dead, and then all of a sudden they rose up in the rankings to like number 5, and now they've dropped down to 23 in my rankings. So they're not hitting the ball very well. San Diego is crushing the ball. Both bullpens are not performing well at all. Although San Diego does have a talented bullpen, they're performing horribly at the moment. The only way I would go here is over, but I don't really trust the my numbers on the pitchers enough to actually put money on it.
All right. If you want to, if you know, again, they don't have a big sample at the big league level, but they've pitched plenty in AAA. If there's no question about it, the more big league ready pitcher of the two is Logan Evans. Kolek is not a guy that I really think stays in the bigs. Like I don't know. I just from what I've seen from him at the AAA level, he's kind of here by default right now. He's here because Kyle Hart didn't work out. He's here because Randy Vasquez didn't totally work out. And again, these are guys that were already filling roles for a Musgrove, Waldron, Darvish. Like Logan Evans was always going to be in the big leagues at some point. I thought coming into the year was kind of like the most highly touted of the pitchers down at AAA. Like he's sort of this next wave. I didn't think he was really big league ready just yet, but some stuff has opened up there for him to get an opportunity. Now, am I dying to play on him yet? Not really. But like when I look at this matchup and I go back to what Bryan has said for a few weeks, Mariners have a little bit more value when they're playing on the road. Now, granted, this is a ballpark that's kind of like theirs. So maybe that's not as big. Maybe that's not as pronounced in San Diego. But they're a live dog. Mariners are a live dog tonight. I don't know if I'll get to the window with them in this instance, but this is like, I would say one of the more live underdogs on the board tonight in Major League Baseball. Mariners plus 130, the way that they've been playing, I think you get a pretty good edge with Evans over Kolek. I don't hate the Mariners at all here. Aaron Pauling, I didn't even see this. We have some ESP going here. I think this is the first time that I've brought up a series price on a show in my career. Like I cannot remember the last time I brought up a series price on the show. And at 8:44, he said, any thoughts on series winners and prices this weekend? I didn't even see that. That's incredible. I didn't even see that. G Hurt. Yeah, let's get to this game. The Trig special, White Sox plus a half. I don't think this is the Trig special per se. I haven't really bet on the White Sox much this year, but apparently that is a badge that's going to follow me from, I guess, losing on with them a few times last season. Actually, I feel like anytime I've brought up the White Sox this year, they've cashed. I talked about the White Sox earlier this week with the Reds being like pretty undervalued. They won the first 2 of 3 in that series. They are now the day game. We've got day baseball at Wrigley. Cade Horton, I'll talk about him at the end of this, but Shane Smith, Bryan Leonard, am I seeing the wind potentially blowing out at Wrigley this afternoon? Am I seeing that correctly?
I'm seeing 11 and a half, so that would tell me the wind's blowing out. And that's not something that you probably want to play on with a couple of young pitchers, although they have Shane Smith has been very impressive. I think out of all the Chicago pitchers, I like him the best thus far. 2.08 ERA, 1.08 whip. His expected ERA is 3.34. Can't get the opposition to chase. That's his major weakness. He's only in the 8th percentile but he's thrown a lot of strikes. He's looked good thus far. His barrel percentage is in the 89th percentile. So he's keeping them off balance, and that's what a young guy needs to do. But he is playing one of the best hitting teams in baseball. Although the the Cubs lately have not hit nearly as well as they did earlier in the season. But bringing up Cade Horton, I've followed his career a little bit. You'll talk a little bit more about him. He comes in with a 6.75 ERA, but his expected ERA is only 2.72. So I like both of these pitchers, but with the wind blowing out, it's hard to make a case for them. And also anytime we've got a game with an 11.5, the extra half a run or whatever, doesn't seem to be worth as much because it's, you probably like to do that on a 7 as opposed to an 11.5. We've seen that in football. If it's a total of 54, they could score 80. So that's the kind of thing with baseball. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything right now that I'm willing to place a bet on.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this game. I don't know enough about Horton. Shane Smith has been actually really good. He's been really good, but both bullpens have been sucking pretty bad lately. And both lineups the Cubs were red hot, but current form, they're performing quite badly right now. And the White Sox always perform badly. So, one good pitcher, 2 bad bullpens, two bad lineups in current form. So there's no way I'm playing this. Everything like cancels each other out for this.
I see a pretty strong edge here for the White Sox. And I'm when you start to look at what the price is on this game, now I do agree with Bryan. I would love to play this White Sox plus 1.5. It's a little less, that 1.5 sort of edge is a little less pronounced when you start to get up with a total of like 11.5. But man, like I look at these two pitchers right now, and the one that's less likely to get blown up or to get bombed on a windy day is Shane Smith. I've watched this dude pitch in terrible weather 3 times already this year, at least. That's the thing. The White Sox played in some horrible weather in April, whether they were at home, whether they were in Minnesota. They had some really bad weather games. I have yet to see Shane Smith really go out there and not sort of throw the ball and impress me. I'm going back to his start. Like, can you find an outing where Shane Smith wasn't competitive? I don't think you can. I think he's been competitive.
My numbers like him. My numbers like him a lot.
You want to talk about, seeing some red on the Savant page. Pitching run value 96, fastball run value 95. He again, I've liked this kid I've bet on him a few times. Every time he goes out there, he seems to at least compete. And that's a big deal. When you're talking about a windy day at Wrigley, we've seen some of the best pitchers. We've seen some really good pitchers on a windy day at Wrigley turning at like beer league softball games. What the one that comes to mind a few weeks back, I think we talked about it on this show. It was Cubs Diamondbacks. It was that crazy game where the 8th inning had like 15 runs or something. I think the Cubs ended up winning the game like 13-10. It was like you've seen some obnoxious games when the wind is blowing out at Wrigley, especially during the day, Friday afternoon. Horton is more vulnerable than Smith here, in my opinion. And going back to G Hurt, White Sox first 5. Take a shot with the Sox plus money. Listen, this is a big deal for the White Sox. I mean, they've been playing second fiddle here in Chicago to the Cubs for a while now. Like, that, they just had a pretty good series against the Reds. They're coming in at least playing, reasonably well for their standards. I think I'm going to hold off on this one. White Sox plus 1.5. I think it's minus 105. Very appealing to me. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, great point about the little brother, big brother deal in Chicago. I like to use that a lot. I do have some connections in the music industry in Chicago, and I guess Pete Townsend played a concert that Kate Horton went to last night. So you could say that Horton may be tired because he heard a Who.
Brian, your jokes are as corny as my wardrobe.
And one more thing about Horton, like I love this kid from a like what he's going to end up being standpoint. He's been very solid throughout his career in the minors, but he's gotten hit hard a couple times at AAA. I just think that, like, let's put it this way: if he wasn't as highly touted as he is, would he be in the rotation right now for the Cubs? Maybe not. Again, like I don't think it's impossible that he gets bombed here in a windy day. If the White Sox can get that ball up in the air, hit a couple home runs, that could be a real equalizer here. And you're talking about catching a run and a half plus money. G Hurt, I don't hate the first 5. I think the White Sox is the way to look this afternoon. Again, they played a good. They were those first 2 games in Cincinnati. I thought they played well. So All right, let's good morning, Jack Falk. Good morning to the chat. Appreciate you guys in here. Timothy Wharton B, I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat, so welcome in. Jack Falk says Fireball. It's a Friday. It's Friday night for Tokyo Brandon. He's got the Fireball going. I'm the one.
Makes my lips sticky.
I'm the one that should be drinking the Fireball last night. I had the A's plus 1.5. I was in bed by the fourth inning. By the fourth inning. But I did win in KBO. I did win in AAA, so I battled back a little bit there. Indy Mofro, are the winds blowing straight out towards center at Wrigley today? Probably with that number. I'm not a weatherman, but it does look like, as I sort of Google the weather here, it looks like there's going to be winds blowing out at Wrigley this afternoon. All right, Markinson, our guy Markinson in the chat. Let's go to Nats O's. I think they call this the Beltway series. This is another rivalry right here. Battle of the Beltway, maybe. Brian Leonard, help me out. Nats O's, and we also got a couple southpaws on the mound. Will the Orioles ever win a game again? I guess is the question.
Well, the good news is I've been fading the Orioles on a regular basis, and it's worked out very well. They've pushed Povich. If you remember, Povich was supposed to pitch the other day, and they pushed him back. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess they'd probably make it a little bit softer here going against the Washington offense, but Gore against Povich. Gore's been terrific, and you're catching him as an underdog here. What's the line we've been using a lot? Tokyo Brandon. Why are the Orioles continue to be favored? That would be my thought process in this game. Obviously, it's a small. The Washington is the little brothers to Baltimore in that area, so it's very important for them to get these victories. And right now, from a hitting standpoint, C.J. Abrams is hot as hell. He's hitting like 345, hitting a couple bombs. He's playing the best he can play, and he's the leadoff hitter, and that means a lot in Major League Baseball. Gore comes in 3.59 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, expected ERA at 3.44. As good as he has been this year, he does have problems keeping the ball in the park. Ground ball percentage in the 21st percentile, hard hit rate 22nd, barrel rate 16th, average exit velocity 15th. So you know what you're going to get out of Gore. He's going to paint the corners. He's going to pitch well. He's going to strike out a lot of guys, but he does give up home runs. And as I mentioned last time I was on this Baltimore stadium here, since they moved those fences in a little bit, that they're more of an offensive stadium. In fact, they're one of the best offensive stadiums. Problem is the Baltimore Orioles pitching staff is so bad. It's the other teams that are having most of that success. Cade Povich, don't like his numbers at all. 5.55 ERA, 1.54 WHIP, expected ERA 6.25. The only thing on his Savant page that's better than average is his walk percentage. He only walks 7.6%, and his strikeouts aren't very good. They're at 18.4. So he's at about a 10.8 strikeout minus walk. Everything else is bad. So first thing I would take a look at here would be a possible play on the over. The line opened 9, and it's basically stayed 9 at this point. Can you trust Baltimore's offense? How about we take a look at Washington? And we looked at Washington's team total in this game, and they're coming in at 4.5 under 135. You have to get 5 runs out of Washington. I don't know if I'd want to do that. So at this point, I'm looking at a way to play Washington, but I don't want to have to ask for 5. Maybe we'll look at the first half if those are out as of yet. First half, okay, here we go. 2.5, and you get paid plus money on the over. I think out of this one, that's the way I would look. First 5 innings, Washington team total over 2.5, and you're getting about a plus 115. Something in that one range, 115, 120 range there. That's something I'm looking at right now. I don't want to make it my play today, but I may come back to it.
Parlay?
Well, Tokyo Brandon, feel free to plug the show parlay as you get into this. It hasn't been
Yeah,
brought up
I
yet. I feel
mean,
like we deserve
wow.
to bring it up.
We've done it for 3 shows, and if you bet $1 on a parlay, you won 15. If you bet $100, you won 1,500. So it's not bad. So yeah, obviously us 3 know what we're talking about. And the funny thing is, we all approach, every single one of us approach capping totally different direction, but we all sometimes we disagree, but we're all successful, which is really interesting, which is what makes this show good, in my opinion. I learn from you guys, and I love doing this show. So the problem I have with this game is I have both teams hitting quite poorly, like 22 and 24 out of 30. And then I have Mackenzie Gore ranked way higher than Cade Povich. So in that situation, what I'd love to do is jump on Washington's team total or something like that. But unfortunately, Washington's hitting is lacking right now. I've got Washington with a huge advantage with starting pitching, but I have the Orioles. The Orioles bullpen is actually performing quite well these days, where Washington's is not. So I give the Orioles an edge in bullpen. I give Washington an edge in starting pitching, and then neither the edge in hitting. So I am going to stay away from this game.
I'll echo the sentiments of Bryan here. Why are the Orioles favored? Like, listen, they're going to win. Now, I got sucked in with the Orioles. I'm ashamed to say it. I got sucked in with the Orioles yesterday when the line dipped all the way to -121. I was like, Chris Paddock, I got to do it. And I don't even like Sugano. That's why I'm like, I'm far more upset with myself for the Orioles play yesterday than I am the A's. Like the A's, whatever. Like I you know, that it is what it is. I'd probably make that play again +1.5 at that price. It just wasn't the day for Beto. I'm really kicking myself for jumping in with the Orioles because we've talked so much on this show. I think I was the first one to bring this up back like the first week of the season. This team's awful. They're going to finish last in the AL East. Like they're going to luck their way into a win at some point. But how are they a favorite against Mackenzie Gore here with Cade Povich on the mound? It just doesn't make any sense. And again, this is like the Blue Jays rule for me from the other day. Like, I don't know if I could bring myself to turn around and then fade the Orioles after playing them yesterday, but the Nationals shouldn't be an underdog here. They just shouldn't. Gore is light years better than Povich. The Nats are playing better ball right now. And another big reason I went on I wanted to take a shot with the Orioles yesterday, their WRC plus numbers were decent against right-handed pitching. They haven't really hit lefties this year at all. So, I mean, I don't know if I'll do it, but man, Nats as a dog kind of feels like wrong team favored. Arnold in the chat, we started the show off with this one, and I kind of agree with you. I think the Mets at plus money are a little bit of value there as well. But we did talk about this game at the top, Bryan in the chat as well. So you can rewind and rewatch that one. There's a guy in the chat named Tokyo Brandon suggesting a game. Yes. But we also have Mark A suggesting that same game. So let's head over. We'll let you start here, TB. Since you want to talk Twins, it's Twins Brewers. Kick us off. This is a rivalry too. I forget what this one's called. I saw it advertised on the broadcast the other day, but you'll have to help me out there. It's something Midwest. I don't know.
Maybe it's called the boredom rivalry because these two cities are boring. Sorry to anyone from Milwaukee.
Have you ever been? How do you know?
I've been to Milwaukee. Actually, I was born in Iowa, so I did go to Milwaukee a couple times.
You
and I
learn
went to
something
Chicago
new every day. I did not know that, TB. I'm glad we brought it up.
I was born in the Quad Cities, right on the Mississippi. So we went to Chicago a lot, and we did go to Milwaukee sometimes too. So I know Milwaukee. I don't know Minnesota, but from what I've seen, it's Phoenix is my town. Let's just put it that way. But the reason I wanted to talk about this game is because my numbers love Minnesota here, and I want someone to talk me out of it. I've got Joe Ryan has been amazing. I know the sample size is small, but well, it's not that small actually. What does he have? 5 or 6 starts? It's not that small.
8 starts.
How many?
8.
8. So yeah, I mean, it's not a small sample size. His walks to strikeout ratio, amazing. He's only walking 9.5% of the amount of strikeouts he gets. Amazing. Chad Patrick's number is pretty good too at 29%. So Minnesota, though, I have them ranked much, much higher in hitting. I have their bullpen heads and shoulders above Milwaukee's. And I like Joe Ryan. I dug a little deeper because I really wanted to bet Minnesota here. The kind of things that held me off of betting it so far, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion, is the fact that Minnesota is horrible on the road. Milwaukee's a good home team, and Chad Patrick to me is still a little bit of an enigma. So I'm holding off, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, my first thought is like you can't play Minnesota till you find out who's going to play, because they had two main guys, Buxton and Carrera, ran into each other yesterday, knocked them both out of the game. They're both in concussion protocol. So that would mean that if they don't play, that's a big drop off, especially for Buxton, who's having a really good season for the Twins. Correa has been up and down, currently in the down situation, but I don't want to have to bet them if they got backups in there, because to be honest with you, I don't like the Twins backups. They just brought in Cody Clemens, Jonah Bride. They're just trying to fill the spots because of all the injuries. So that is a concern here. Obviously, Ryan's very good, but Ryan does give up the home run ball, and that's enough in this one that could hurt you. Milwaukee's not a big home run hitting team, but the total is at 7.5. So with his propensity to give up home runs in this ballpark, which is a pretty even hitting ballpark, maybe a little better in that regard, I do have concerns. So I won't be on this one, but that might be why you could wait and check and see who's going to play in the starting lineup for Minnesota in this one.
And that's why the Twins team total is only 3.5. Got it. Okay.
Listen, so just to talk about the collision yesterday, like Correa looked like he was on another planet. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he actually he got up. I don't think he knew where he was when they were like walking him off the field. I feel like he took the brunt of that. So it's like Buxton, I kind of felt like that was just more of like a precautionary type thing to take him out of the game. I mean, you won 10 straight. Like, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? It was like day game. I think that was more precautionary. I will be interested to see who is in the lineup for the Twins tonight. That being said, Joe Ryan, when he's healthy, is an elite pitcher. Like this is a guy because you got to remember last year, I believe his season was cut short with the shoulder. It was his shoulder. He was coming back. I think it was a shoulder thing, and some of that spilled over into this year. So I just feel like when he is fully healthy, he's in the upper echelon of starting pitching in the American League. Now, Twins have some bullpen usage. As we taught you win 11 straight, you're going to be racking up the high leverage innings. I think every single Twins pitcher pitched in the doubleheader 2 days ago. And then, they used who they used yesterday. So maybe, that would be one other thing that maybe puts me off the Twins. I don't think I'll play against them here. That being said, I do like this Brewers team. I will try to find a place this weekend to play the Brewers, especially if you get let's say there is let's say concussions are a thing and you get a Buxton or a Correa out for a couple games. There will be a spot to play the Brewers this weekend at some point. I just don't know that it's here with Chad Patrick against Joe Ryan. Like what I hope for selfishly, I hope the Twins can find a way to win another close game, burn some of their bullpen arms, and then tomorrow day game, I don't know if it's a day or a night game, but like Saturday, Sunday, maybe they put out the B team lineup. They've got 12 wins in a row. They've got one to spare, and you can find a good spot for Milwaukee with with what I would consider a more trustworthy starter on the mound. That's sort of how I'll be looking at this series.
See, what an educational show we have. This is great. You guys just kept me off Minnesota.
Get Minnesota and get a better number.
It's minus 108. I was like, holy cow. I mean, they're the much better team. I was just shocked. But yeah,
I didn't
see the highlights. Yeah.
If you want to just straight up bet on Joe Ryan and go Minnesota first 5, I don't really hate that. Like if you want to isolate Ryan against Patrick because you're just like, Joe Ryan can shut this team down for 5 innings. I don't hate that, but as Bryan said, he will give up the home run from time to time, and that might be enough offense depending on what kind of lineup the Twins trot out today. So
I got Milwaukee. I got Milwaukee's lineup ranked 27 out of 30 in current form right now. I'm tempted to make my leg of the parlay the first 5 Milwaukee Brewers under 1.5, but I'll hold off for now.
So I will say, we've got to, the expectations we're starting to have to live up to with the show parlay. We've now done 3 parlays. We have yet to lose a leg. We've hit all 3 parlays. We're 8-0-1 in the 3 parlays so far. As TB said, if you were to, for every dollar you've placed on the parlay so far, you're up like $15. So hopefully some of you guys are actually betting the parlay.
1543.
Yes. My leg on someone in the show said it's my birthday, throw out a premium pick. My leg on Wednesday was ended up being a 4%er for me. Red Sox plus 1.5. I have not put anything up yet, but I'll try to use I'll try to use something that I actually am gonna play. Jerry Davis. This might be it. I mean, it's already 9:35. I may have to kick this off with the White Sox. I don't. Well, give me the other 20 minutes. I want to see what else comes up. But I do really like Shane Smith. I may find a way with that game. Phantom picks. Our guy Phantom picks. Pirates are 0% chance winning tonight. Now, I never give a Major League Baseball team 0% chance, but they are on the road in a very difficult place to win. And someone else in the chat asked about the Phillies. So let's get Bryan Leonard back in here. This is not a rivalry, I don't think. Is there a name for the 2 Pennsylvania teams playing each other? I don't think so. I think this is just 2 teams on the opposite sides of the state of Pennsylvania playing a series. So kick us off.
A Rocky rivalry.
It's 2 teams in Pennsylvania that wish they were in Ohio, since that was my home state. I will say the Phillies are only 3-7 on the year against lefties, so that makes Pittsburgh a little bit tasty here, as Philadelphia struggled against southpaws. Haney's on the mound. He's looked pretty good so far. I don't know if it's his last start or the one before that he struggled a little bit, but Ranger Suarez is a guy that's been very good, and he's come into the season pitching very well. I could see both sides in this game. I'm with you. I don't want to be playing Pittsburgh. In fact, we talked about the teams that fired their managers, Colorado and Pittsburgh. They're just as bad. Doesn't matter who the manager is. It's unfortunate. But Pittsburgh as a dog has a little bit of an edge because Philly can hit lefties. But then again, I don't know how Pittsburgh's going to hit Suarez. So nothing for me here. I'm sorry.
My first leg of the parlay is going to be that aforementioned Twins Brewers game, first 5 innings under 4.5. It's minus 132. I believe that's an alt line. Am I allowed to use an alt line, or should I use?
As long as it's,
I can't bet those in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? There were some people that had a hard time betting like the first 5 team totals, so we'll try to keep it main market stuff.
Okay, main market under 4, minus 100.
Perfect. That's fair. Yeah, first 5. So you've got the first leg of our parlay today. TB is going Minnesota. Brewers. So that's Minnesota. Brewers Twins under 4. And
under 4, first 5.
Is that like even money? First 5 under 4?
It's plus 100. It says minus 100 on Pinnacle, but it's plus 100.
Yeah. So even money there. I will recap the parlay at the end of the show, but that is our first leg. And yeah, I mean, Bryan mentioned like this could be a watered down Twins lineup, and I will circle back to that game for just a second. Chad Patrick's a guy like he's a fighter. Like he's going to hang around at the big league level because he just battles. And I think if you're going to get a decent outing from Patrick and he can fight a little bit for you, like Joe Ryan can shut that lineup down for a few innings. Again, absolutely. I think when Joe Ryan is at his best, he has wipeout stuff. So that's all right. So there's our first leg of the parlay.
Yeah.
We've got 20 minutes to finish it up.
Let me touch on the Phillies game real quick. I love.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Andrew
Sorry
Haney.
about that.
I love Andrew Haney. I hated him when he was with the Angels. We've touched on this in previous shows. The Angels are basically a cancer for pitchers, and after Canning and Haney have left the Angels, they've blossomed in. I wouldn't call Pittsburgh a good organization, but they've blossomed elsewhere. So I like Haney here. Believe it or not, the Phillies don't have as much of an edge in this game as you might expect. So be very wary taking the Phillies. They do have a huge edge in batting. Their bullpen is slightly better, and Suarez is slightly better. So beware with that. Don't be laying like 200 or something with the Phillies. That's my input on that game.
Mark Hinson says, heard the show is Monday through Friday now. Hopefully by next week, we want it to be. And the way that we can make that happen is if you guys get in the comments, subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Let customer support know that you want this show 5 days a week. So they'll set us up a stream on Monday and Thursday, and we can be here 5 days a week. That's our goal. But we need you guys to run it up in the comments. Hit the like button. It's free to like and subscribe. So help us out in that regard. Let's get back into Jack Vault says Beyonce is in Chicago this weekend at Soldier Field, though. I don't know how that relates to the ball game. I think
that was my Horton Hears a Who joke.
Yes.
Got it. G Hurt says if PCA hits a leadoff bomb, I'm gonna quit. Listen, there's probably gonna be quite a few runs in that game. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. I'm really close to firing out White Sox as my parlay piece. Mark Kinson, hit the like button for us.
Can we cover
Kai Biggs says Adam all over the A's and White Sox these days. Well, it's been I'll take it. Listen, I'll come in. We'll talk. Let's talk A's for a second. I was on the A's last night. It didn't work out. They got blown up 19-2. I got to imagine that if you've taken my advice on the A's this year since the beginning of the season, since we've been doing the show, since I've talked about the A's, there's no way you haven't made money backing this team. But where they've been positioned in the market, the fact that they're a 500 team at this point in the year, basically priced, Vegas had them priced as a 70-win team on the win total coming into the season. The A's have made you money. Like it'd be hard to have not made money to this point, sort of regularly backing the A's. I'd have to go back and dig a little bit more with the White Sox, but they certainly have cashed a couple of nice plus tickets of late as well. As Brian Leonard always says, when you bet, when you're betting these underdogs, especially the bigger underdogs, like, the worst teams in this league are going to win 50, 60, 70 games. And a lot of times when they're, if they're $2 underdogs, you don't need to win at like an insane clip to profit on these teams. So the A's now is interesting because going into last week, if you go back like 2 weeks ago, they started to be, I thought, a little bit overvalued. They got off to such a hot start. They started to be a little bit overvalued. The schedule makers have handed them a very tough path recently. I think they had to play the Mariners. They had to play the Yankees and then the Dodgers. Now they go to San Francisco. So going over to Brian Leonard, do you think the A's are getting undervalued at this point? Or is the youth starting to show, and are you starting to kind of say, maybe they are coming back to earth a little bit? How are you looking at this team?
Well, they had some guys, some hitters with off to great starts that are starting to slump now. I mean, Rooker has not looked the same. Although I will say the first baseman, the big star, hit his home run the other day, and he's not giving you a lot of power, but he's getting hit in like every game. He's been very consistent. I like the way he's been playing. Sears is a guy who's going to give you some innings here, but he's going against one of the best pitchers in baseball here with Webb. This is another one of those, and there's a lot of these. I think they're saying this is rivalry weekend or something in Major League Baseball because the A's are obviously the little brothers to San Francisco there. In fact, I've been to San Francisco and I wanted to go to Oakland, and the taxi drivers didn't want to take me there. So Oakland's got a little bit of an inferiority complex here, and I think that part of that is I think there's a toll on the bridge. But it's San Francisco is the better team. They've got the better pitcher on the mound. But the A's are always a dangerous dog. But unfortunately, they got beat up so bad yesterday. You got to wonder about their thought process coming here. So I'll be sitting this one out.
We're talking, yeah. I got Logan Webb, the third best starting pitcher in all of MLB, and that's not on a curve. So he's outstanding. I like him a lot. I've watched him, like him. And when I see something like that, what I always look to do is try to bet the other team's team total under. But the A's are hitting so good right now, you can't really do that. I know they got trounced yesterday, but they're hitting still. I mean, I loved when they put their catcher in to throw pitches there. He struck out Ohtani. That was awesome. I was watching that game. But anyway, their catcher struck out Ohtani in the 8th or 9th inning. Anyways, they're hitting too well to bet a team total under. And so I'm going to stay away from that. But the A's bullpen is horrible. Maybe they have some good arms. You guys always say I don't think they're horrible when I say that, but they're performing horrible. I have them dead last in MLB right now in current form. And I have San Francisco hitting 11 out of 30. So if anything, I would take a San Francisco over, team total over here. If it's 3.5, I would love it. If it's 4.5, I might lay off it. Sorry, I didn't do my homework well enough. I don't know what it is right now. But if San Francisco is a 3.5, I would jump all over that.
Yeah, you're right about the A's. You're right about the A's.
Yeah.
Well, if they're a $2 favorite on a 7, it would be 3.5 if it was pick 'em. So it'll be at least 4.
Yeah, that's tough. In that part.
I don't think yesterday's like a good indication of like the A's clearly gave up in that game. I mean, the first 2 innings, they had some really good at bats. 2 out to start the game, gave himself a 1-0 lead. I think they got a solo homer in the second from an unlikely source. I think it was Schumann at the bottom of the lineup hitting a home run, and then you're right. I was disappointed in Rooker because he crushed Matt Sauer last year. I thought he had a home run. He kind of caught it off the end of the bat. It just wasn't it just was not a good game for the A's last night and really the night before. So I don't know that this is the spot for me with them, but I do think they probably bounce back with a good performance at some point this weekend. I don't personally really want to go against Logan Webb, so this will be a pass for me, but I'm not giving up. But listen, I'm not giving up on the A's just because they got knocked around by the Dodgers, who are probably the best team in baseball. So I do think like maybe the last couple games will have sort of, tank their value a little bit. I'm actually kind of selfishly, I hope they lose here or they, I would love to get to Saturday or Sunday with a better spot to take a look at A's as an underdog. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this series. Leg Show Magazine says right now I trust the parlay with the money for my daughter's chemo treatment. Yes, the show parlay has been hot. The show parlay has been hot. Right now we've got 1 leg locked in. That's Tokyo Brandon on Brewers, Twins.
Now we got some serious pressure.
4. We've got some pressure, but
I'm a total softy sucker for sick kids, man. Now I feel pressure to win these. Now.
I think he's probably joking, but the point
I hope he is.
The point is that the people want another show parlay win. I don't know how much more we can do. We've hit 3 in a row, but hey, we're going to try to hit 4 in a row. We still have 12 minutes. We'll lock in a couple other legs. Let's get back. Inclement weather expected in the Midwest region. So I guess that's something to keep an eye out there. Let's see. Yeah, algorithm Bruce, guys. Ronnie Vegas, like and subscribe. Give us Joe Cup was saying we teased this yesterday. That was just our producer Chris accidentally put the wrong date in for the show link. But hopefully by this time next week, we are going 5 days a week. So hit that like button and let us know you want to go 5 days a week. Kai Big says Trig, stop with the special needs teams. I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was a pretty funny comment. I'm not going to throw it up on the I'm not going to throw it up on the thing, but here's one we should get. Let's go to Dom. Blue Jays, one of the best teams when facing a right-hander. He wants to talk Blue Jays.
Yes.
I kind of had the Blue Jays circled as well. TB it cannot wait to talk about this game. So let's go to Tokyo Brandon.
I've been commenting. You going to go to me first?
Yeah, Bowden Francis, Jack Flaherty, Blue Jays, Tigers. What do you got?
Yeah. Jack Flaherty pisses me off because every time I back him, he loses or he barfs on the mound. So I don't know if his career's over or if he's. I don't have a good read on him, to be honest, because every time I back him, he barfs. So tough to back him. I got both of these teams hitting top 5 in MLB. So my inclination when I see that is to think over. I thought it was 7.5, but it looks like it's 8.5. Yeah. Blue Jays bullpen is performing really well. Detroit's bullpen is slightly above average, according to my numbers. I got Jack Flaherty ranked 18 on a curve of 30, so he's slightly below average. And for some reason, I don't have a read on Bowden Francis. Perhaps I don't have enough numbers on him. It's coming up like NA. So not sure what to do with this. If anything, I'd like to go over because both of these teams are absolutely crushing the ball right now. But Toronto's bullpen's performing really well right now, so that might keep me off and over. If it was 7.5, I'd jump all over. It was probably 8.5. So yeah, over would be the only way to go. But the reason I wanted to cover this is because I wanted to get your guys' thoughts as well.
Well, I don't want to play Bowden Francis. Detroit's been the much more consistent team, although Toronto's had a pretty good winning streak lately. Flaherty, he doesn't pitch as well on the road as he does at home, but his career is in fine shape. He normally pitches in Detroit, which is a good pitcher's ballpark. He'll keep them in a lot of games. So I give the pitching edge to Flaherty in this one. The team edge, Detroit's a better team right now than Toronto is. So you're getting the better team with what I consider the better pitcher and also the better bullpen, and you're getting them in basically a pick-em situation here. I prefer the Detroit side.
I'm just going to – I realize we got about 10 minutes left in the show. So and Mark Hinson is in the chat. We have to get him Braves Red Sox before we get out of here because he's asked for it like 3 times. But I'm going to Jerry Davis in the chat just keeps throwing stats out supporting the White Sox today. He says if you bet every White Sox run line, you're up 6 units now. That makes sense. They've been pretty good against the run line. So you know what? I want it no other way. I either want to get everyone all jazzed up or all pissed off at me by 5 Eastern. That is how I like to live life. Either you're going to be furious at me for ruining it, or we're going to be all jazzed up going into Friday night or Saturday morning for Tokyo Brandon, whenever he's waking up for this game. My leg of the parlay, White Sox plus 1.5. It's minus 105. I think that's what I've been pretty much for these parlays. I think I've been using these full game plus 1.5s, and they've hit basically every time. So we are going White Sox plus 1.5. It is we'll call it minus 105. I think this is going to be an entertaining baseball game. I really do. And I think Smith is the better equipped pitcher to combat the elements today. And you're getting the extra run. So that'll be the parlay piece for me. We're going to talk Braves Red Sox, and then we'll let Bryan Leonard finish it off with his parlay leg. So Mark Hinson, Braves Red Sox, Fenway Park, Chris Sale, Garrett Crochet. Very interesting matchup. I'll start with Bryan.
I can't believe we waited to the end to get to this game, as this is probably the best game on the board. At least it could be. Chris Sale, great numbers. 3.97 ERA. 1.41 whip is a little bit concerning. His strikeout rate this year is at 30.2, which is lower than it was last year, and obviously walking a little bit more. But as good as he has been, his off-speed run value was in the first percentile. He's getting it all on his fastball, strikeout percentage, 88th percentile, whiff, 90th percentile. Great pitcher, but this Red Sox team, this Red Sox organization knows him very well. He was just in Boston before he went to Atlanta here and had all that success last year with the Cy Young Award. I think that's an advantage here for the Red Sox. Garrett Crochet, another guy who's been terrific, comes into the 1.93 ERA, 1.07 whip, but his expected ERA is 3.37. He's walking a little bit more than you would normally want. This year, 9.3. Last year was 5.5. So that's his weakness there. And his barrel percentage is about league average, about 53% in the 53rd percentile. So I like the Boston side here. I think their knowledge of Sale is a big advantage here. And I think the way they're playing right now, Boston's had a lot of bad luck. I think they're a better team than what they're being graded at here. And not only will this be a game that I like, it's also going to be my third leg of the parlay. I'm going to play Boston at a cheap number here at home against Atlanta.
Got it. Look, man, you got Chris Sale and Garrett Crochet. These guys are top arms in the league. We got the Braves slumping a little at the plate. Got them ranked 21, including current form. Have the Red Sox ranked 10 in current form. But really, just looking at these two starters, the only way I would go is first 5 under here. I think it's 3.5. Seems fair to me. I don't see. I mean, the Braves could ruin it for us, but the Red Sox could ruin it for us by getting a couple off Sale. I don't think they're going to get 4 though. So that's the way I would go here. Not a play yet, but probably will be.
Bryan, was that are you using that for the parlay, or is that just is that your parlay leg?
No, that's will be my play on the parlay today. Anywhere from minus 108 to minus 115, whatever you want to use.
And that's sorry. That was Red Sox full game?
Red Sox full game.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to make sure. So Red Sox full game. Yeah, we'll call it minus 110. Is that good?
Sure.
All right, so Red Sox minus 110. I'll read it off at the end of the show. We've got like 4 minutes left. So I got to go to leg show because someone in the chat is like, Cubs are going to blow this open later in the game. That is kind of the where these teams do cancel out a little bit. The Cubs, if they have a weakness, if this Cubs team has a weakness, it's definitely their bullpen. And the White Sox actually have had guys, couple different relievers have been down in Charlotte, starting rehab assignments early this week. So I wonder if either or if any of them, the names are escaping me right now, but they're like some White Sox sort of regular relievers. They might have some help on the way in the bullpen. It's an interesting point, though. I think that's like maybe like the one misconception. The Cubs bullpen has been, definitely a pain point for them. Like pretty much the only thing that really hasn't worked out for them so far this year. So I thought it was interesting, Leg Show, bringing that up. Let's get one more here. Let's see. I saw a couple people wanting to talk Astros Rangers in the chat, and that is actually another Apple TV national TV game. So Astros Rangers, I didn't see like fully, but did I see like Lance McCullers was getting like death threats or something? That's awful.
His kids.
Know how you're gonna. Yeah. What are you doing? Do they know it's mid-May? It's mid-May, and the Astros are doing what they do, finding ways to win games. Now, they lost a tough one last night, which was a great game. Hunter Brown, Jacob deGrom, 1-0 game. Tonight, it's Eovaldi and McCullers. Astros and underdog. We'll start with Bryan Leonard. What do you think here?
First off, I had a 5% play on that game yesterday, the under in the Astros Texas game, and 1-0 final. I can't get any better than that on an under 5% more. And that was my 12th straight winner in all sports overall. So we're on a 12-game winning streak going into today.
Well, we got to hype that up. You have 12 straight wins right now?
12 straight wins overall, winning in just about everything. It's been great. And so I don't know what I'm using today yet. I've got 3 plays I'm thinking of, and we'll see how it goes. But McCullers, I'm kind of rooting for him tonight because of that stuff they had to go through. Eovaldi's been fantastic for Texas. One of the best stories out there, his the way he's pitched the last few years. McCullers is very inconsistent coming back from injuries. He's always had injury problems, but he's a good pitcher when he's healthy. But the problem is, I don't know if I want to put my money on him to bet on that he's healthy at this point. But from a personal standpoint, what his family's had to go through, I'm rooting for Houston in this game.
I don't think McCullers. I won that game too, Bryan, but mine was 4%, not 5%. But yeah, I was on the under. I was on the under first 5, by the way. But yeah, that was Great. 0-0-0-0. Love to see it. I think we're going to see the same thing, something similar in the sale matchup today, crochet matchup. So regarding this, I'll just make it really quick. I don't think McCullers is as bad as he performed his last outing. I think he'll bounce back. And also, I don't think Eovaldi is as good as he's pitching right now. I think he's pitching over his head a little bit. So if we rewind to 2 years ago, if we were looking at this matchup 2 years ago, do you think we would be thinking the same way? Probably not. Granted, we're not in a time machine. We're not 2 years ago, but I think the Astros have a shot here. I don't think they should be plus 150 against this Texas team. I think the Astros are a better overall team, but both bullpens are performing well. Eovaldi is performing well right now, but I think this will be a closer game than people think. I think Astros plus 1.5 might be the way to go here. Haven't bet it, but yeah, that's the way I would go.
I think the game's appropriately priced. I do think Eovaldi is a significantly higher quality arm at this point. But with that being said, like you said, TB, the start against the Reds, like it can really happen to anyone. I mean, it's not just like just because you get blown up, can't get out of the first inning on a given day. Like that happens sometimes. The previous start, he pitched into the fourth, didn't give up a run against the White Sox. His previous 2 starts down in the minors, he went 5 scoreless down at AA and 4 scoreless at AAA and barely gave up anything. So, like, if I'm looking at how has he thrown the ball the last couple weeks, it's been far better than that one outing against the Reds, who just seemed to have everything click all at once in that first inning. And, talking about the Reds, like that's sort of like the ceiling of like what the Reds can do. I feel like that's, if the Reds ever just show up all at once, they can hang a 7 spot on someone like that. So I wouldn't be that shocked if McCullers bounced back a little bit here, but I don't really want to go against Eovaldi either. Maybe this is another under. I think the number's right. I think the total's pretty much spot on. I think the number for the money line is pretty much spot on. I don't hate your look at Astros plus 1.5 being the road team. Maybe they bounce back and get a win. Like they're not a team you get in that price range very often. So it's a tough one though, but that's just really my thoughts there. We are at the top of the hour, so I will close this out by reading off the parlay, as we are now trying to go 4-0 on 3-teamers, which it's insane that we're even 3-0 on these, to be honest with you. But we're going to try again. We'll know early if we have a chance or not, because my leg, White Sox plus 1.5, minus 105 for the full game, is a day game. And then we've got Bryan Leonard on Red Sox, minus 110 for the full game. Tokyo Brandon, Brewers, Twins, first 5 under 4. So those are the 3 legs. White Sox plus 1.5, Red Sox, those are full game bets. And then a first 5 bet, Brewers, Twins, under 4. I'm just going to promote Bryan Leonard's streak. I have nothing up for sale. You should be trying to ride this 12-game streak. I didn't even know that until just now. That's insane. TB, do you have anything to promote for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to put out a play shortly for today. I don't have anything for sale yet, but TB3 is a 3-day all-access pass for $39. If you go get a 3-day pass and use TB3 at checkout, you can get it for $39 for all my plays, full access.
Yeah, if you want it, listen, I'll have something up for sale. If you buy it, I'll be honored. But nothing I could put up today will be better than riding Brian's 12-game win streak. So that's what I think you should be doing today in baseball. Bryan, are you going loaded card, or are you just like trying to isolate a game and run it to 13?
I had gone loaded cards the previous 3 days. Yesterday it was a smaller card, so I just had the one. I do have a couple here I'm looking at, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know what my best play is, seeing if we're going to add anything onto it.
All right, like I said, time of reckoning for me, it'll be about 5 Eastern, because I've either kicked the parlay off with a win or ruined it. And someone in the chat was like, is there any place offline I can vent? Just do what everyone else does and just vent in my DMs on Twitter and do it publicly. At least I get the engagement for it. So you want to just like vent at me, do it on my Twitter and make, at least I get people will like and start venting with you, and it'll boost my Twitter algorithm. So feel free to do that publicly. Yeah, I had a shitty day at MLB yesterday, but scratched out a couple wins elsewhere, and that's all we can do.
I went 3-1
TV.
yesterday, and I just won a 4% in Japanese baseball, and I'm getting heckled. So you can't please everyone.
Listen, it comes with the territory. We get to talk about baseball for a living, so I'll take it any day of the week. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you back here. I gotta talk to someone in the chat. Was like, Johnny Detroit, get this on 5 days a week. I'll be texting him shortly to see if we're on Monday. If not, we'll definitely see you Tuesday morning. But again, like and subscribe. It helps us out tremendously. Have a great weekend. Let's go with another show parlay, and we'll see you guys next week.